Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review. This time we are doing How to Get Away with Murder Season 6 Episode 10. This is the first episode that we are back for after the mid-season finale. So, just a very quick review of the previous episode, which seems like a lifetime ago in my opinion. But the last episode, Asher turned on them and he became a confidential informant. In my opinion, I think there's two, him and Gabriel. But as far as Asher is concerned, he's turned confidential informant and is now dead. We also learned that Tegan was the one that helped Laurel to escape. Why? We'll find out a little bit later. So. Let's get into it. Remember, Annalise called the guy on the burner phone and, set up her escape. She's in the mirror just taking off her wig and getting undressed, just kind of undoing the Annalise persona. And she's about to become whatever her name is at this point. Her new name, I don't remember it at this point, but that is who she was attempting to become. So, getting undressed, that's just the initial checkpoint once she's gotten to what I'm presuming to be Mexico. Simultaneously, Michaela and Connor are being booked for Asher's murder, and they're basically trying to pin them against each other, or at a very minimum, pin them against Annalise. So Oliver's trying to prove that the Castillos hacked into their cameras, but however, we know the Castillos are very powerful, and that footage has been deleted, like it's gone. We can't find it, so there's no way to prove that Asher and Michaela were actually at home high on shrooms, where everyone else was on the evening of Asher's murder. Okay, so we jump back over to Annalise, and she's in the middle of some busy street in, like I said, what seems to be Mexico. And the person on the burner phone sends her a text and lets her know, hey, you need to go to this cafe and look for someone. You just need to go to that cafe and just wait on further instructions. So back at the house, Bonnie and Frank are realizing that Annalise is gone, or the Castillos have made it look like she's left. So nobody knows where she is at this point, and everybody's just realizing that, one, Asher is dead, and two, Annalise is nowhere to be found. Alright, so Oliver calls Bonnie, and he's looking for Annalise, trying to, get the legal perspective on things. He learns that Annalise is, Bonnie doesn't tell him that Annalise is gone. He tells us that Annalise is indisposed of, or something to that effect, to kind of not let everybody panic about the fact that Annalise is missing. And during that call, she learns about Connor and Michaela, because up to this point she was not aware. Alright, so Connor's mom shows up at the jail, and they're not giving her any answers, and she's just flipping out on Oliver like, you need to stand up for him, aren't you his husband, you need to fix it. And so Connor's like, oh crap, like I don't know what to do. So at the same time, Connor is back in the interrogation room having an attack of some sort, because he's looking at the pictures of Asher in a pool of his own blood, dead at this point. Pictures of the crime scene. So the jail's nurse determined that it was just a pretty bad panic attack, and he needs to know, like, it was bad, so maybe you guys should take him to the hospital. And they are not buying. They're not letting him out of their sight. They're just like, I think you'll be all right. Basically, we're gonna get through what we need to get through. So moving on, Frank is trying to convince Oliver to leave the jail, and Oliver is still kind of reveling in what Connor's mom said. Like, okay, he's thinking about, how can I fix this? How can I make this better for Connor? So he blurts out, I was the one that killed Asher. And to Oliver, in his mind, he really does think he killed Asher, because he hit him in the back of the head with the poker stick on the previous episode. However, that isn't what killed him, because he was able to escape when everybody was trying to find something to clean up the blood and, kind of make him better, or whatever happened there. So he blurts out that he was the one that killed Asher. Okay, so now we got Michaela, Oliver, and Connor all trumped up on Oliver's death at this stage of the game. So Bonnie tells Tegan that Asher was killed last night, the night prior, and then the investigators are questioning Gabriel about Abra's. Slow down. Bonnie tells Tegan, she gives Tegan the information about Annalise being missing and Asher being dead, and Bonnie asks Tegan, like, hey, did you help Annalise disappear like you did Laurel? Which is a legit question. Like, you helped Laura disappear. Like, did you do the same favor for Annalise? And she lets her know that no, that is not the case. So the investigators were questioning Gabriel about Asher's death the night before because it was outside of his apartment door, just outside. He was out there dead, bludgeoned to death with the poker stick. So, so all of these things are, flashing back and forth, happening simultaneously, as it tends to do in this particular franchise. Tegan says that Laurel, the reason she helped Laurel was because Laurel was threatening her, threatening to help her, threatening to reveal to Jorge that Tegan was the mole that got him sent away to prison. So basically Tegan's back was against the wall, and she had no choice but to help Laura because Laura had information that she was going to give Jorge, which would have cost Tegan her life. So Tegan was like, okay, I'm going to look out for myself, and I'm going to do what I need to do. So I helped her. I don't feel bad about it, and the way things are going, I think I made a right choice at this point, which I would tend to agree. Like, okay, if I help Laura avoid getting jail time for her role in the murders or get chopped up because her dad is mad that he ended up in prison, okay, cool, right? So, we flash back and Asher is at Bonnie's house after he got hit in the head with the poker stick by Oliver the night prior. And he's trying to explain that he thinks Laura's the mole, and what has ever happened. And she goes to make him some tea. While she's doing that, he pulls out his phone, and we realize that he's recording the conversation with Bonnie. So he's trying to get information out of Bonnie. Bonnie is not a slow leak. She realizes he is the mole, and Frank needs to come, escort him back to his apartment because we're not going to figure it out tonight. So Frank tells her, don't let him leave yet. So she's able to convince Asher to stay in to let Frank take him home because he has a concussion from getting hit in the head. But we all know at this point Asher doesn't make it to the tomorrow because he died that night. At some point between Frank taking him home and being found. So Frank we don't know what Frank has done at this point, but Frank is also back at the jail in current times, speaking with Connor's mom, and we realize that Connor's mom blames all of this on Annalise. She thinks that all the kids are used as pawns by Annalise, and there's no blame to be held only on Annalise, and she wants nothing to do with it. And Frank was like, I'm just trying to help. We're just trying to help make sure that things go right for Connor. And Connor's mom's like, we already have a lawyer. I don't want anything to do with you guys. I want no association with Annalise at this point. So she sends him away and threatens to scream if he doesn't leave her alone. Tegan is at the jail talking to Michaela. Simultaneously, Connor is trying to hold it together in the next room, kind of like saying his speech over and over. Like, this is what happened. I didn't do this. There's footage outside of the house that lets him know that I never left. Trying to hold it together because Connor is not doing well with this situation. Michaela, she's a pit bull. She's just trying to, think of her next steps at this point. So, Bonnie's talking to Oliver in order to represent him at the hearing that's coming up. He needs to sign some paper. And she also tells Oliver that hitting him with the fire poker wasn't the thing that killed him because she saw him after he got hit in the head. So that's not the case because Oliver thinks, okay, maybe it was a slow leak and he passed out and died from me hitting him, which was not the case because he was lucid, he was aware, he was all these things when he was at Bonnie, so that couldn't have been the cause of death. So I guess Oliver is satisfied with the answer at this point. So we learned that Michaela already has a lawyer and she won't be needing T's representation because her father has found a lawyer for her. So her dad is finally able to come in and save the day, the dad that she recently found in previous episodes like this season. So we flash back to Frank. And Frank is on the way to Asher's to take him home for the evening. And Frank insists on walking Asher up to his apartment. And when we get there, Frank goes through Asher's bathroom and he finds a loose board up under the cabinetry or something like that. And so now he's trying to figure out, okay, well, he's definitely the mole at this point. But we cut to Frank at Nate's house, just giving him the news that Asher is dead. And basically Nate wants no part of it. And Frank tells him, like, you need to be concerned because you killed D.A. Miller, so you have a stake in, making sure we figure out what's going on as well. But Nate is still not having it. Tells Frank never coming back to my house again. Blah, 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 whoop, de whoop. So, don't know what Nate's problem is. Like, you're done with Annalise. You still killed somebody, so you should kind of be trying to work with the group of people that could possibly help you out. right? Okay, cool, whatever. All right, so at the bail hearing for all three of them, they're asking for bail to not be given. The defense claims that they have evidence against Oliver and everybody else involved. That Asher has left a voicemail for one of the detectives after he got out of the house where Oliver hit him with the fire poker. Right? Okay. So, we listen to the voicemail and it's kind of vague as far as information is concerned, but he does mention names, and whatnot. So the judge has decided that there was enough evidence so far to charge Michaela and Connor, but not Oliver. So they cut Oliver free because all of that was just based on his shroom-induced confession that happened earlier in the day. So Ashley's sister lashes out and she says, hey, everybody needs to be charged. You know, everybody's responsible for my brother's death. So, you know, she's having she's having a hard time accepting that only 2 people are going to be charged. All right, girl, escorted out of the courtroom. Okay, so we flash back to Frank getting... Okay, we already went through that. So we flash back to after Frank has found the loose floorboard in Ashley's apartment, and he comes out and Ashley's trying to fumble and put his phone away very quickly. And Frank asks him, like, are you expecting a call? And he breaks down and starts crying and says that he thinks Frank's a good guy and whatever he did in the past, he doesn't blame him for it. And at this point, Frank has figured out you're the mole and you're probably recording me. So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. All I've been was a friend to you, so you should lay down. Maybe not go to sleep because you have a concussion. That's not very good for concussions. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say on anything you're trying to get me to say. So he has nothing for his recordings at this point. Flashback to Bonnie and Frank having a separate conversation. Bonnie tells Frank flash forward. Bonnie tells Frank who actually helped Laura disappear, and that it was Tegan. And Frank goes to see Tegan. Tegan claims, of course he has to, where are they? I need to see them. Blah, blah, blah. I love Laurel. Who cares? And Tegan claims she doesn't know exactly what Laurel is. She gave Laurel the contact information and Laurel made her own arrangements. So she doesn't know. So unfortunately, Frank is probably back on the mission of finding Laurel and baby Christopher. Just let him work, let him live, bro. Just give up. Like, she don't want you no more. She gone. She disappeared. Everybody finna go to jail. Half of y'all gonna, like, somebody already dead. Just start fresh, bro. I'm just saying, like, Laura wasn't all that to start with. Cause I don't really like her attitude. But we go back to Michaela and Connor at the hearing, and they also not only want to charge them with Asher's murder, but they want to charge them with every other murder or intimidation or any other thing that's happened under any of these cases that happened since Sam that Annalise has been implicated in throughout these years. So they're kind of at a place where their back is against the wall, and this is where Michaela and Connor learned that, hey, Annalise is nowhere to be found, so you guys need to help me build a case against her so that y'all cannot serve any more than 5 years in prison. And they have until 5 p.m. that day to decide. Yet another shady judicial tactic, but I don't have the hours in the day to get into that. All right, so back at Ashley's apartment before he is dead, he's replaying his recording and realizes that he didn't get anything from Bonnie. He didn't get anything of substance from Frank, so he's been recording all night for no reason, and this is probably his last-ditch effort to get all the evidence he can for the indictment on Annalise. So he gets so mad, he throws his phone and he breaks it, but then he realizes, once he comes out of the angle, like, hey, I need that phone because I'm assuming there's more evidence in there, so now he's mad that the phone is crushed, right? So he has a fit. Now he has a fit about the fact that he broke his own phone with the evidence in it. All right, cool. Whatever, we'll come back to that. Nate goes over to Bonnie's and he just really, really, really wants to know, was it Frank? Like, please tell me it wasn't Frank that knocked off Ashley. And she lets him know, like, no, it wasn't Frank. If it was, we'd already be in jail by now. So, it wasn't Frank. And Nate is still on this high and mighty horse, like, I don't want anything to do with the situation. Blah, blah, blah. And I need to keep doing the right thing. She tells him, like, if you want to do the right thing, just turn yourself in for D.A. Miller's murder. Like, I still have to live with the fact that you killed my fiance. And, you know, if you want to do me any favors, you can do that since you want to do the right thing. You know, so he leaves. Michaela is back and she's kind of pining over her decision about whether to take the deal or not. So she's asking her dad, like, I really, really, really need your opinion on this. Like, you really got to help me out. Simultaneously, the word for the day, people, is simultaneously. And simultaneously, Oliver is trying to convince Connor to do the same, to take the deal. And both of them are so concerned with each other, or they're concerned about the group in general. Like, they've been so bonded in murder and plots and conspiring to cover up. They've been so bound by that even when it comes to their futures and whatnot coming into play, they can't stop thinking about each other's well-being. And you'll see that all the way up until the end, but stick with me, you know, I do it as the scenes come. But so they're thinking about each other, and Michaela tells her that, you know, we know the judicial system, and, you know, basically just kind of put it to her plain, like, you need to take the deal, because when you look at you and you look at Oliver, when you look at you and you look at Connor, even if we take this to trial, y'all are not going to come out even. I'm going to put it how I'm going to put it. He was basically just telling her, you a black girl, he a white boy. The judicial system ain't going to give y'all the same deal. Take the one that they're offering you and let them figure out his fate separately. Basically, like, think about yourself, girl. Like, the judicial system ain't going to give you no leeway. Connor might. He painted a picture like, you know, he has 2 parents in the home, you know, he comes from money and all these good things, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop, you're a child of adoption, and, like, those pictures could be painted very differently when it comes to trial, which has happened on a million occasions. You are a potential lawyer, Michaela, so you know better. So she has to come up with another plan, independent of being so engulfed in Connor coming out clean also. So, Connor and Oliver is doing the same. Like, he's basically trying to downplay Connor's role, letting him know, like, you know, Michaela's the one that pushed him over the railing. You know, kind of painting everybody else's role as bigger than Connor's role. So it may be more apt for him to take the deal because, I mean, your role was minor. Like, you just did cleanup, or, you know, you did a lot of the post-killing type work. So, you know, you may get a better deal. So you should be taking this deal as well. So, you know, everybody's trying to look out for the best interests of each individual party, while the individual parties are more concerned about each other working it out in their favors. Hope that made sense. It's a lot of words when it comes to these reviews, so stick with me. All right, so the prosecution is back, and there's an envelope. Somebody has signed some sort of deal, and they are pleased with the deals that's in the envelopes. So now the prosecutor she's setting her sights on getting to Annalise. Now she needs the big fish she's been trying to capture. Right, so Annalise is in Mexico. She's waiting on the lady in the yellow hat. The lady in the yellow hat shows up, and they're off. They have to go to another location. We don't know where. We don't know when. This is just a part of the network of disappearing. You just need to follow the person that you've been told to follow and go to the next step. So, they're headed to another location. We are back with Asher, and he's having a meltdown. But then he realizes, hey, I have a lifeline. He goes to Gabriel, who happens to be listening to his recordings as well when he was recording Frank. And, you know, he hears and puts that away and goes to answer the door. He needs to use Gabriel's phone, which I'm assuming is to call the investigators. And Gabriel's like, no, you need to go away or whatever. And Asher offers him $64,000. A check for $64,000 to do so. So we flash forward to currently, and Gabriel still has that check, and he's sitting at his desk. So that raises more questions because, one, where in the hell did Connor get $64,000? Is that like a payment, like a deposit on you turning against Annalise and everybody else? Two, Gabriel, why do you still have that check if you didn't do anything to Asher? Which you may not have. You may have just taken the check and let him use your phone, but it's going to be shady in the grand scheme of things. All right, so, and it seems like Michaela has somehow worked out a better deal for herself. Even the prosecution is kind of giving her compliments, like, you're going to be a great lawyer one day. You've figured out a way to come up with a great deal for yourself, and you get to go home today. And so she's getting ready to leave, and her and her dad are kind of celebrating. They're headed to a hotel to, you know, so she can get cleaned up and get food. And she spots Connor in the hallway, and they embrace each other, and Connor's like, yeah, I mean, I guess he assumed her embracing him was a thank you, and he goes, okay, you're welcome. And Michaela's like, what you talking about? No, you're welcome. And he lets her know, like, hey, I worked out a deal for both of us. Well, it looks like both of them were able to work out deals for each other. So Michaela and Connor both asked for immunity only under the guise of the other getting the same deal. So no matter what Michaela or Connor figured out independently, both of them would get immunity and none of them would be charged, if that makes sense. So Michaela worked out a deal like, hey, whatever deal you're offering me, you have to offer to Connor for me to accept it. And then Connor did the same thing. Whatever you offer her, I have to, she has to accept it. Or you have to give it to her even if she doesn't sign that paperwork. So they worked it out where, they could both kind of get off scot-free in this situation. So they were able to kind of work out a good deal for themselves and each other. So that was smart on everybody's part. So we figured out that part. They have deals, and now everybody's just on the path of taking Annalise down. So this is where everything comes to a head in this episode. Annalise and the lady in the yellow hat have been walking, and she gets a call, and she's speaking Spanish, and she's upset because something's changed, plans have changed, something is happening. And so she hangs up, and Annalise is like, is something happening? And she lets Annalise know, like, we gotta move, and we gotta move fast. They may know that you're here now. Whoever they is, they potentially know that Annalise is there, and they need to make the next leg of the trip happen a lot sooner. So while that is happening, they're racing through the city trying to get to the next checkpoint. Bonnie asks Frank, like, are you going to kill Asher, just to kind of make sure? And Frank assures her that it was not him. Annalise is following the lady, and they see a black car across the street, and there's a guy in there, and the lady tells her, like, and Annalise is kind of freezing up. She's hesitating. She's afraid to cross the street. She's just kind of frozen for whatever reason. And the lady tells her, like, if you want to get away, calls her by her new name. Don't remember what that was. But if you want to get away, you need to come with me, like, right now. Like, literally, there's no more seconds to wait. Either you get in this car right now, or you get caught. So the lady goes and gets in the car, and they speed off, and Annalise has, disappeared in the crowd because she doesn't want to get in the car with the lady. For whatever reason, she can't bring herself to completely disappear at this point, because I'm assuming after this checkpoint, there's no more Annalise. So she takes her little suitcase and she goes back into the crowd. She disappears. So the lady, she keeps on, going on about her business in the car with the guy. And then seconds later, the cops surround her, and she is now under arrest, and they're reading her rights in Spanish. I'm assuming reading her rights in Spanish. Annalise has now been apprehended in Mexico. So that sucks, right? Final scene. Michaela's dad goes up to, I guess, the prosecution and asks him, have they found Annalise yet? Like, he was very smug about it. Have they found Annalise yet? And we cut, and that's the end of this episode. Boom. This is my theory. Remember, earlier in the season, Michaela's dad owed Annalise a favor, because Annalise has kind of been looking out for Michaela since she ended up in adoption, just kind of low-key checking on her and trying to do favors because her dad wasn't able to be in her life. So Annalise called in a favor to Michaela's dad to help her disappear. So he has the disappearance connect. So now Annalise has been caught, and you're the one that set up the connections. So I felt like once Michaela got involved, her dad was like, all bets are off. You can go get her. I'm good. I'm saving my daughter. All right, so we'll see what happens with that next Thursday. So that has been episode 10 of the final season 6 of How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, so things are getting interesting. We're going to find out who killed Asher. This is just my prediction. I think it was Laurel. I think Laurel came back to maybe as a last-ditch effort to help everybody else out, and he ended up with his head bashed in. So that's it for episode 10, and we will see what happens in the next one.